In this lesson, I'm going to show you step by step how to break and run a rack of 8 ball. You will see where I'm hitting the cue ball on each shot. I also recorded slow motion videos and I used my GoPro so that you have the best possible learning experience from this video. First we're going to talk about the break shot, and after that we're going to break and run a rack while I'm introducing different steps it takes to run out an 8 ball. So let's start. I prefer to not break perfectly from the center, but a bit to the left or to the right. The most important thing that goes over everything on the break is that you hit the first ball as straight as possible. That way you can transfer the most power onto the break. You have to make sure that there is absolutely no left or right spin on the cue ball, because then it will deflect a lot when hitting hard. So if the cue ball goes wild because you can't hit the first ball full in the face, maybe consider to just take a bit off to get more accuracy. The goal should be that the cue ball ends at the center of the table after the break. That way you have the best and also the most options to actually have a shot on a ball. To accomplish that, you need to aim slightly above the center of the cue ball. The exact amount depends on your speed and follow through. The cue ball would then bounce off the first ball and the forward rotation should keep it at the center. You see here, with just a bit more forward rotation, the cue ball would have been perfectly at the center of the table, but I'm still very happy with this break shot. Here's another example. Look how easy this rack can be with a good break. I have very easy shots to play here. Okay, unless you play a horrible position shot and have to get out of trouble. The layout of this rack, by the way, was too easy to use it for this video, so let's break another rack and then try to run it together while learning the different steps it takes. Okay, let's break another rack, and now you will see how much time I'm taking for the break shot, because the break is the most important shot you have in 8 ball. Imagine you're able to make balls on the break constantly. You're able to control the cue ball, that means holding it at the center of the table. Then you give yourself a much higher chance to run a rack or even run several racks in a row. So don't rush the break shot and take your time. I added a bit too much follow on the cue ball, that's why the cue ball came towards us. But apart from that, we have a very nice layout and we made 2 balls on the break. The first thing you have to do now is to identify potential problem areas on the table. And you see here, with the solids and the stripes, we have a big problem area. The rest of the table, up table, looks very nice, so we just have one problem on the table. The next step is to look for a ball that is very easy to make that we can start the rack with. And as you see here, we have one ball in front of the side pocket, the stripe ball, which is very easy, the 15 ball, and maybe also the 6 ball into the side pocket. Usually I would now continue to plan, but since the 15 ball is a very nice ball to open that problem area and to already push that 14 ball away into open space with an insurance ball on the 11 ball, I'm going to play that 15 ball first, and afterwards I'm going to plan the rest of the rack. This worked out perfectly, and now we can do the next step that we usually do before we play our first shot, and this is separating the balls into groups. As you see here, we have a group of 2 balls or maybe even 3 balls. We have 1 ball in front of the side and in front of the corner pocket. After we've found our groups, which we usually play separately, we're looking for a key ball on the table. And you see here the 9 ball is a nice key ball to get a nice position on the 8 ball. This means the 9 ball should be the last ball that we're playing in this rack. Now we can start our plan, and it looks very nice to play that 11 ball first, have a nice transition to the 14 ball, and then play the group up table, followed by the 9 ball and the 8 ball into the corner pocket. It wouldn't make any sense to go from the 11 ball to the group up table, then down table to the 14 ball and then play the 9, because then you have to go up table, down table and up table again, so always play them in a logical order. This looks like a very nice position on that 14 ball, and now we have to transfer to the group up table. As you can see here from the angle, we're pretty much straight, we have a tiny bit of an angle. I could now just stop the ball and have a bit tougher shot on one of the two balls, but I'm deciding to follow the ball because I have a tiny bit of an angle and I can make life easier if I'm getting closer to the ball. So here I'm taking a bit more difficult shot to get a nice shot on the 10 ball, but this will very much open the rack for us or finish the rack if we get a nice position on the 10 ball. All we have to do is to play a stop shot on the 10 ball, have a nice shot from the 15 ball towards the 9 ball, play the 9 and the 8. So this is already the match winner because the rest is very easy to do. As you see, we got a very nice position on the 10 ball, and now we have to double check where do we want to be on that 15 ball. Because a stop shot doesn't help, we have to draw a bit back to basically get straight on that 15 ball. So I'm checking where I want to be. I don't want to be too far on either side because then I'm going away. That's the danger with the 15 ball. So here's the one last difficult shot. Well, it's not really difficult, but it's the most difficult shot that we are left with in this rack. So here we have to concentrate to draw it precisely to our point. And we got a nice position. We're not perfectly straight, but it's still good enough to just roll the ball in and have a nice position on the 9 ball. Here you see the straight line that we have, and we want to be on this side of the straight line and not on this side because we want to go into the rail and not towards the 8 ball. You see, with this angle we can go into the rail. The other angle would go towards the 8 ball, and this makes things difficult. So here I better get too short than too long, or maybe straight would be okay, but I don't do too much because I don't want to get on the wrong side of the 9 ball. You maybe noticed the reaction of the cue ball. I actually got a kick here on the shot, but still this is very okay. We are actually on the right side to have a nice shot on the 8 ball. And as you see here, this was very controlled. We didn't get out of line, and this was a really easy rack to start with. And because this was just a bit too easy, maybe we're going to do a second attempt to continue our maybe second break and run here. And after I made the 8 ball, which I'm probably going to make here, we will set up another rack and see how the second rack goes and if there is any more to tell. And one important thing on the 8 ball, I'm not rolling it in. I said that probably 100 times. I'm playing it with a stun shot because that way I can avoid a kick, because I just got a kick on that 15 ball, so I don't want to have a kick again, of course. Okay, we're breaking again, and one additional tip on the break is to actually visualize what the cue ball should do on the break. Because usually when playing shots you visualize how the object ball drops and where the cue ball should travel, but it actually helps to visualize the cue ball behavior on the break as well. That means how the cue ball bounces back, how it stops at the center of the table. This can really help you with your break. Well, it didn't work this time, but the break is so difficult, it can't work 100% of the times that you're doing it, so practice makes perfect here with the break shot. Okay, this rack looks a lot better because we don't have real problem areas on the table. So we don't spot in any problem areas, and now we have to find balls that we can open the rack with. We have that 15 ball, we also have that 14 ball up table, we also have that 1 ball, and maybe even the 12 ball here to open the rack. This time we have to think a bit more about which group we're choosing, and as you see, the 15 ball would maybe be a key ball to get on that 15 ball, but the 4 ball is blocking the path, so it's a bit difficult to get a nice shot on the 8 ball. I think we should go for the solids here because we have a nice group of the 1 and the 5 ball. We also have a nice group of 4 and 6, which could be maybe a key ball or a nice key ball on the 8 ball, and also the group of 3, 7 and 2. So here the big problem is, if I'm using that 1 ball here, I want to hold the ball for the 5 ball into the corner, but the problem is I have a bit too much angle, so I need to hit the ball very soft with inside English, which is very difficult. I also could play that 1 ball and transition to another group, but then this 5 ball up table there is just by itself and it's very difficult to get there. So I'm looking for a different ball to open the rack with. And here you see the 7 ball. The 7 ball is a bit trickier than the 1 ball, but with the 7 ball I can transition nicely to that first group, then go to the second group, up table, and have a nice shot on the 8 ball. So my plan here is, or our plan should be, to make that 7 ball. But very important, if you're not feeling comfortable with that ball, like I told you in my latest video, don't play that shot and play an easier shot because you don't want to miss. But I'm feeling very comfortable with making that 7 ball here. And as you see, we got a very nice position on the 2 ball with actually the right angle to go towards the 3 ball and already clear the first group on the table. And here is now the interesting part. After we made the 2 ball and got a nice position on the 3 ball, with an angle of course to go towards the center of the table, we don't want to clear the whole group of balls at the center of the table. We want to use that 4 ball to transition to the group up table, because this is not very difficult, and then from up table go to the 6 ball, because the 6 ball is the perfect key ball. Of course, you could also try to clear the whole group at the center of the table first and then go up table. This is totally fine and also works. Here I have a nice angle to actually follow my plan and go up table towards the 5 ball and the 1 ball. And the good thing here is I have margin for error regarding speed control, because if I get too short or too long, I either have the 5 ball or the 1 ball, and from those balls I can easily transition towards the 6 ball. So I'm playing this shot with a tad of left in English. I want to pass that 15 ball, bounce into the short rail, and then either have a shot on the 5 ball or on the 1 ball. As you see, I ended up a bit in between. I have a bit too much angle on the 5 ball and I am on the wrong side for the 1 ball, but this is still very doable. Just play the ball with left hand English and slow roll it in to have a nice angle on the 1 ball, either straight or either have the angle where you can go away from the short rail. Here I ended up straight, but this is totally okay. We just have to draw the cue ball back, get straight onto the 6 ball into the side. And we also don't have to be perfectly straight. We could either go a little towards the 8, a little away from the 8. And now you see we have a very nice shot, a very good key ball. All we have to do is roll that ball in, we have a nice angle and have the easiest 8 we could wish for. So as you see, 8 ball can be a really difficult game, but it can also be very easy if you're playing the right shots, playing the right patterns. So I hope I could help you with this video. Okay guys, to be honest, pool can sometimes be a really difficult game, but on the other hand, as you just saw in this video, if you're doing the right things, that means playing the right shots, making the right decisions, playing the right patterns, you can make the game at least a bit easier for you. Okay, one more thing. If you like my shirts, for example this one, the Smash That shirts or the Pool is Live shirts, consider to head over to my shop. The link is in the video description. It's basically right here and also up there in the corner. Okay guys, if you like this video, if you enjoyed it, if you learned something new, please consider to comment, share it with your friends, leave a like, subscribe, print it out, whatever you want to do. So I'm really thankful for whatever you're doing. A huge thank you goes out to my sponsors, to my patrons, and to everyone who's supporting me. And yeah, I think that's it for today. So thanks for watching guys, and as always, see you at the next lesson. Take care.